Hello, everyone. We are going to be starting in a moment or two. We're just waiting for folks to hop on in. I'm Louisa, that's Melanie, and you're going to be stuck with us for the next 61 minutes.
In the best of ways.
In the best way possible. The chat is open, so feel free to drop your name, where you're from, what institution you're at, if you're a student, if you're a faculty member, if you're a professor, if you're a plumber, all of the above, none of the above. I like to include the trades in there. But yeah, Melanie is going to be watching the chat glow up. So any questions you have along the way, feel free to drop them in there and we will get them answered. Cool. Awesome. Great. We have a creative designer in our midst, Melanie. So she might be schooling me.
Would she like to do the
least.
webinar?
Would you like to do the webinar? Just by show of hands or not? Thumbs up.
Yes.
Thumbs
Share
down.
your expertise.
Yeah. Give it another minute or so as people continue to join. But yeah, if you're just joining us, drop your name in the chat, where you're from, a fun fact about yourself. We also love reading about those. What you hope to get out of the webinar today. Again, I'm Louisa, that's Melanie. We call her Mel for short because Melanie's long. From India, awesome. We have someone from India here.
Welcome.
Graduate student at Parsons. Yeah, New York, I'm in New Jersey. I know Parsons well. Excellent. Awesome. Kathy, how are you? Lizzie, the name of my twin sister. Okay. Austin, that's by almost your territory, Mel.
Nearly.
Almost.
Not too far.
Central. Yeah. Awesome.
They're Austin Community College. Awesome.
Sounds good. Cool. I'm gonna give it one more minute. So we will start at 1:02 Eastern Standard Time. Feel free to keep, engaging in the chat. Melanie is here. I'll be looking at it from time to time throughout the presentation, but communication via chat is one way that we learn. William and Mary in Williamsburg. Awesome. I have an old boss who lives in Williamsburg.
Oh, and Ralph from Longy. Hi, Ralph. How are you doing?
Hey, Ralph.
Nice to see you there.
We conferred over email. And shout out to, I think, what's the school? We talked to so many schools, Mel. Now I'm just making myself look bad. Northeastern. It's on the East Coast.
Where Ralph's at? Ralph's at Longy.
Ralph's at Longy now. It's Professor Fong. Any students from Professor Byron Fong's class? From Rochester, I believe Rochester.
Oh,
maybe?
We've got some.
Ron
University
Bradley?
of Rochester. Very nice.
Was it Rochester? Maybe I'm making that up. All right, awesome. All right, I'm going to stop talking, small talk. Continue to drop your name, your institution, what you hope to get out of today in the chat. Talk to each other. Mel's going to be watching it, and we're gonna get started here. I'm Louisa. I am on the Wix Higher Education team with my partner in crime here, Melanie Lowe. And what we do is simple. We help students like you and institutions, faculty, career centers, help students create a personal brand, a personal identity, and showcase the great work that you're doing through a website. And that could be everything from a portfolio website to a website where you're building a business. But today we're focusing on a portfolio website. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get into it. And don't worry about jotting down slides and anything like that. Everybody can see the presentation. Mel, just give me a thumbs up. I'm going to go into full screen in a second, but you will get this presentation and a couple other goodies. We'll talk about Wix certification. This is the first step of being Wix certified. Number one, attend the webinar. So you're 35% there. I was not a math major, so out of 3 steps, I'm not sure that that's actually the correct percentage. So don't hold it against me. I was an English major. So let's get to it. Let me start the slideshow here. Okay. Launch your site with Wix and get Wix certified. So this is what we're going to learn and talk about today. 3 planning steps, a 3-step process to make building a website easy as 1, 2, 3, or as Mel likes to say, a breeze, because that's exactly what it is. And you're going to see that when we jump into the demo. 2, how to communicate your skills, how to communicate your value proposition so that you stand out in a sea of candidates, right? Looking for the same role. 3, how to design, build, and customize your website with Wix, obviously. And then we'll talk about how to get Wix certified. So 3 steps away. Did I skip a slide? Just want to make sure I didn't. No. So let's talk about the certification briefly. Again, 3-step process. We love the rule of 3 here at Wix Higher Education. This is going to validate your skills, right? By attending this webinar, this is going to give you some skills, some foundational skills, and hands-on experience so that you can build a professional looking website to showcase you and your work and your experience, right? And this is industry accredited, right? So the first box is already checked. Attend the Wix webinar. Congratulations. Thank you for being here. We're so thrilled. Can you see it on my face? You can. You can see it on Mel's face. Number 2, complete the knowledge check. We'll talk about that. Yeah, we're gonna quiz you. You know, we're gonna see if you were paying attention today. It's not hard. I mean, I don't think it is. It's multiple choice. You could do it. And then the 3rd step is you're going to submit that knowledge check to us and you're going to submit a website. So like folks like Mel and me and my team, we review your website and we say, okay, great. This is awesome. It's a work in progress. Great starting point. Keep going. And we give you that badge of honor, that Wix Foundation's certified badge, which you can then put on your website, right? Highlight it on your website, on your LinkedIn, on your social media platforms and say, you know, hey, I have this great industry recognized digital badge. I'm on my way because guess what? That's what employers want to see. Okay. So that's the certification. Here's the lovely 3 steps, right? To design and plan your website. Don't be overwhelmed. Don't think that, you know, oh, I'm attending a webinar, I'm getting homework. This is craziness. It's not, because we're going to have fun. Building a website is fun, especially on Wix, because it's so easy. You can't break anything. So don't worry about it. First step is to define your goal. What do you want visitors to do and see and know about you when they go to your website, right? So for Melanie's goal for her portfolio, for her professional website is going to be drastically different or different than mine, right? Because we have different goals. My goal may be to attract teachers and students, right? To do like a consulting business for transitioning teachers. Melanie's may be different than mine, as yours is going to be. Okay. So step 1, define your goal. Number 2, organize your content. This is where we tend to spend the most time, and students tend to have a little bit of a struggle organizing your content. But think of it like you're creating a book of pictures, right? And you're going through your iPhone library. You're not going to put all those pictures in, you know, a book maybe to give your mom. You might, but not every picture is worth 1,000 words in my book. So you're going to strategically pick photos out of your album to put for a gift for mom. Think about organizing your experience and things that you've done in the same way. And we'll show you a cool site map to break it down even further into manageable pieces. And the 3rd is really fun. Showcase your brand. Who are you? What are you about? Again, like Melanie's colors and branding and fonts and images that she uses are going to be different than mine, right? Like I'm very loud and obnoxious sometimes. I'm fiery. So maybe I like reds and oranges, and that's going to be showcased in my portfolio. Mel, she's got a PhD. Okay. She is very calm, warm tones, subdued. So her colors may be like more in the neutral palette. And she's not going to have loud, obnoxious images and music like I would on my site. Again, showcase your brand and identity. Okay. Let's dive into a little bit deeper of these three, and we'll show you some examples along the way. Define your goal. This is a great example of doing the number one, defining your goal. Hi, I'm Erica. I'm a product manager, right? And then we have a little about me statement right underneath that. But notice, and we'll talk about this, the call to action buttons are so important. And when we get into the editor, you're going to see this. What are they going to do with that arrow? They click that arrow as a call to action button, and it may take you further down per page, right? So tell your visitors to do something. Download my music, view my resume. Call to action buttons are so important because they're directing your visitors to your most important content that you want to highlight, okay? And this is a good example of that. Some CTAs to consider again: learn more about me, view my resume, subscribe to my blog, explore. Look at those strong, right, verbs. Do something. I want you to do something, okay? Call to action buttons. Make sure you have them. I defy anyone on this call, go to a website and show me a website that does not have a call to action button, all right? Drop it in the chat. Prove me wrong, okay? Love this site. John Harmon Cooper, who is an artist, singer, songwriter, musician, right? Multi-talented, multi-threaded. He groups his content into buckets. That works for John. This is also a little dabbling into like the branding and identity, right? There's no right or wrong thing here. Whereas Erica, she had less pages. She wanted people, she wanted to put herself front and center, one page, people can scroll. That's what I'm about. So John buckets his skills, making it easy for people to navigate through his site because maybe someone just wants to work with him as an actor, but not a singer. Okay. And this is really important. There's a little bubble in the right-hand corner here. What pages do you need? These are kind of non-negotiable, but these are the pages that are going to help you get started at the very least, right? So I'm always a fan, and I'll probably say this throughout this presentation, so please stop me. Oh, well, you can. You can in the chat. Is less is more, okay? You have a home page. You definitely need an about me page. You definitely need a project page, which is things that you've done and things that you've experienced, right? That you want to showcase. And you definitely need a contact page, because how am I going to get in touch with you if I want to work with you? I want to get you an interview. Okay. So that's really all you need. 4 pages. And Wix has a ton, over 900 templates. Mel, correct me if I'm wrong, to get you started on that process. Okay. This is what we mentioned a few moments ago. It's called a sitemap. So if you have no idea how to design a website, use this, right? You have a home page, and again, it just breaks down those buckets, those categories of things. About me page. If you work on a team, maybe there's a sub page, right? Under that about me page nested there. And we'll show you how to do that. If you want to sell things, I have, Melanie and I work with a lot of students who are involved in digital marketing, e-commerce, entrepreneurship, and they want to sell on their site. So maybe you have a shop. Look at my stuff. Look at this stuff I created. I want to sell it. Things like that. A blog. I love a good blog. I have one. I don't have many readers, but I have one. But it's therapeutic for me. I kind of write for myself. I can geek out on that, but I'm not going to go into it. I mean, I could, but we don't have time. Anyway, blog, and then a contact page again. All right. And all of these things are templates within templates. Like Wix makes it so easy that you will see. So you don't have to worry about a thing. I think that's a song, right? I'm not going to sing it. I mean, I could, but I'm not. Great example here of showcasing your brand. Okay. Amanda, designer. And just again, like, look at the color palette that she just decided to use, drastically different from John's or even Erica's, right? That's all about the branding and identity to showcase who you are. And she leads with a very, very clear, I love this, a clear personal, this is her value proposition, right? I am a designer driven by a passion for brand experiences that create connection between brands and people. One sentence, and I know what Amanda is about. Okay. So, and again, we will give you a lovely as part of this presentation, we have a lovely template for you to help craft your value proposition statement, your about me sentence. Nothing that we say or do here, Melanie and I, my team as a whole, we are with you. Okay. So we have tons of resources. So don't get over, if you're getting overwhelmed, just scream in the chat, be like, Louisa, I need to take like a 5 minute, we just need to do a breathing exercise, and I will do that. Okay. But anyway, getting back to Amanda, how to start your about me sentence. And this is where I like to use actually Wix AI to help me craft it. So we'll do that too. But you're answering 3 bullets. Who are you? What do you do? How do your skills help other people? That's ultimately the question that you have to answer. How do I help other people? Okay. How am I useful to other people? And Amanda does that here. And last but not least, I love this one. I love everything about it, like the simplicity of the page, the simplicity of the color palette, just the look and feel of the site. This is Rebecca's. She's a designer, a strategic thinker. Again, I'm not going to read that to you. That's her value proposition, AKA her about me statement, right? And again, you want to make sure when you're thinking about your brand identity and what drives those choices, right? The design choices that you make throughout the site, because they will be different. So you think about color, you think about fonts, do you have a logo, tone of voice, right? Vibes, all of the thing. Okay, all the things. Cool. Mel, how's the chat? Is the chat glowing? The chat is glowing. I
Oh,
see
it's
like
glowing.
25.
People are having fun. We're
Okay,
we're
that's
having
great.
fun. We're introducing
Uh,
ourselves.
Love it.
People are singing back to you, whatever song you were trying
Oh,
to think of. They're
wait,
trying to
don't you
assist you.
worry about a
Yep.
thing. That's all I got.
Yep.
I mean, my mother taught piano for 4 years and used to have us sing every holiday, birthday, just for fun. And she would stick an apple in our mouths. It sounds, I mean, I know we're recording this, but she would be like, you have to open your mouth wide enough for your diaphragm to open up. And she'd put an apple in our mouth. Anyway, that's probably too much information. So we're going to move on.
As
Get
a former
ahead.
choir
Yes.
kid, 100% correct.
100%. No doubt. Love it. Love it.
We're sharing today. Today is share. It's share corner.
Today is sharing, because sharing is caring. Okay. We won't share too much. Any questions, Mel? Should I pause before we dive
Nope.
into Wix?
Nope. I
Sweet.
think we're ready. Yeah, we're ready to get into the platform for sure.
Let's do it. All right. So I am gonna X out of this, and I'm gonna move through the onboarding stages a little quickly. Again, just for the sake of time, because we want to spend as much time as possible in the editor, and then we want to leave time for Q&A at the end. So let's get to it. So, and I encourage you, if you have a laptop in front of you, like create, get started, follow along with us, just play around. So you're going to navigate, I'm going to X out of mine because I think I'm logged in already, but we're going to go to Wix.com, and I'm already logged in. If I wasn't logged in, right, you would create a Google single sign-on SSO, whatever you want. But we always suggest use your personal email when you're creating, your login information, so that it moves with you. Because eventually you will graduate, you will move on from the institution that you're currently in. So use your personal email. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to create new site. Now, this is the flow that you will see once you start, once you create your website. Okay. And I'm going to go to create on Wix editor. That's what we're going to be in today. And I'm going to get a series of prompts like AI really wants to help me out. And it's really cool, right? Wix has a new integration with ChatGPT where you can design a beautiful website via prompts. We're not going to get into that today. That's a future workshop, right? But just know that the AI capabilities of Wix when it comes to designing websites is pretty rad. Did I just say rad? I think I dated myself. Anyway, I'm going to set up without the chat. Okay. And again, a series of questions. What type of website? Wix is just trying to be helpful. Okay. Now I'm going to skip all this again for the sake of time. And once I skip those little onboarding pages, I'm going to be taken to my dashboard. And we're going to come back to this at the end. But think of this dashboard, what you're looking at right now. This is your back of house. This is the motherboard, if you're into technology or computers or CS and stuff like that. This is where you manage. This is the manage part of your site. Okay. And you can do everything from look at analytics and visitors, to app integrations, to marketing, to SEO, specifically search engine optimization. Wix helps you out like that, and automations and getting paid. So again, it's the back of house. It's what happens behind the website once it's published on the World Wide Web. So what I'm going to do from here now, welcome, thank you. I'm going to click my call to action button. It's our first call to action button, and I'm going to go to design site. Okay. And once again, Wix is going to say, do you want to design with AI or you want to use a template? We're going to go again, play around with both, right? I'm a curious person. I think everyone on this call is curious. Play around with both, see what you like better. But for our purposes, we're going to pick a template. Okay. So I'm going to go that route. And what I have here is access to over 900 templates in the Wix library, which is so, so cool. And again, you can just drill down by category, business, store, creative, community, blog, depending on your site goal, right? So depending on your site goal, but we're doing professional portfolios here, and we just happen to have a category for that. So underneath the creative category, you see this little down caret, we call it. I'm going to go to portfolio and CV. And here are all my beautiful templates that I could choose from as a starting point, right? Which most of the examples that we showed you used a template. Those folks, those students, they use templates as starting points. And while you can start from scratch, if you're doing it for the first time, use a template, make it easy on yourself, right? And you can do this with any one of the templates. You can hover over any one of them, right? And you can view it, and it'll open it up in a new tab just so you could see what it looks like. So this is pretty cool, right? Okay. And you can see what it looks like. I have an about me page, right? Get some more inspiration, what you like, what you don't like. And then you could just close that out, go back to templates. Again, take a look at another one. Here's a cool one. So just hit view. You're not doing anything. You're just viewing a sample website. Okay. This is a fun one. Something I want to call out that we'll talk about once we're in the editor. We will be building in the desktop version of Wix, right? Which is easier, right? Because everything's big and large and I can see it. But just make a note up here, and we'll talk about it when we're in the editor. You want to see what your website looks like on mobile, right? Because like 90% of people, I just lowered it by my own standards, 90 to 95% of people will likely be viewing your website on their mobile device, right? Okay. So anything that you do in the editor for mobile stays with mobile. Same thing with desktop. They don't hurt each other if you're editing each version. So let's pick a template here and then get into the editor. All right. I'm a fan of this one. I don't know why. I just am. I think it's simple. So I'm going to go to edit, and this is what we're going to start with. And now my editor is going to open. Okay. So I like this. I chose this template, and now it's just a matter of plug and play, drag and drop. Okay. And Wix is adding all this cool stuff. Again, that AI. Again. Okay. Just won't leave me alone. We're going to use it. I promise. We're gonna use it. All right. Just to get a lay of the Wix land here, the playground. What we're looking at is a 50% version. So this is the editor. What you're in right now, what we're looking at is the Wix editor. This is where you'll be designing your professional website. And on the left-hand side here, these are all the fun toys and tools that you get to play with to create your website. So think of this as your control panel, right? And we'll go through each one as we start to build out. But for the sake of, again, seeing things, I'm going to zoom in to 100%. Okay. And here we are. Hello. And what you'll notice, these are all called elements, right? What you'll notice, anytime I click an element, I get this floating toolbar that creeps up on top, and it tells me what I can do with that element. So each might be similar. There are some things you can do with certain elements, some are different, but just know that when you click an element, and again, these are all, I can snap them into place, which I really love. Snap, and it's there. These are all editable, and these are all elements, which is our first tool, the little plus button on the left-hand side of our control panel. So let's change some things here. I'm going to put my name in, right? Louisa Surma, easy peasy. I can change the font, as you can see, all these different text settings, but I tend to like that. Project manager, I'm going to put Wix Fairy Godmother. How about that? I think that's appropriate, just to be honest. And this is not a picture of me, you will notice, or not. I don't know if you noticed it or not, but it's not me. So again, I'm going to use my floating toolbar. I want a professional headshot, right? Your website that you're creating, your portfolio should have a professional website. If you don't have one, but you have an iPhone, portrait mode in iPhone is pretty amazing. Just stand in front of a window with some good light and hit the timer. Or go to your career center. Sometimes they'll help you out too. But I digress. I'm going to change this image. So I clicked on this image here and I'm going to go change image. And what's going to open up is our media manager. And again, think of this as like an iTunes library or a photo library. And all my references to Apple, I apologize. It's because I used to work for Apple. So if you're on an Android, I'm sorry. This is your media manager. And now I have a professional headshot of myself that I'm going to upload to my media manager. And the greatest thing is I can upload my resume, documents, PowerPoints, professional photos, videos, MP3, MP4. I can upload a lot of different things and I can upload it once and it'll stay in my media manager. So I'm going to upload from my computer, my headshot, which is right here. And this is a much better headshot than what you're currently seeing right now. And I can edit this, I can change it, but I'm just gonna choose this image to replace it. And just like that, I have my image, my professional headshot. And then it's just a matter again of making sure everything stays the same. And I want to call out one thing while I'm here. You'll notice that there are grid lines, right? These dotted lines on the page. I want to call that out. And I see Melanie shaking her head because we get this question so often. And I got it this morning in a session. Think of these as your guardrails. Remember, we are designing on our desktop. So let's say I wanted to move my little, this is going to become my about me statement. I'm going to move this over just a bit. Wix is notified. That was dramatic. Wix is notifying me. See this in the bottom left-hand corner. Hey, Louisa, you went outside the grid lines. Some of your content is probably not going to be seen by your visitors. So this is really important, folks. Stay within those grid lines because that's what your visitors will see. Okay. So really, really important. And again, I can move it back, and Wix is it's just drag and drop, snap everything into place. Okay. We talked about that about me statement, and I just want to preview the capabilities of the Wix AI because it is hard to talk about yourself, right? It is hard to craft an about me statement. But again, we have a cool template that shows you who are you, what do you do, who do you help, right? So I'm just going to craft something, right? Like, I'm Louisa. I was a teacher for 10 years. And I love helping students create their personal brand. Okay. It's a starting point. It's not great. It's not finished, but it's a starting point. If I wanted the help of AI to help spruce that up a little bit, I'm just going to highlight the text. And by the way, you can do this with any text throughout, your website creation process. And I'm going to click my little AI tool right there. That's the Wix AI helper. And it's going to say, what do you want? You want to generate new text? You want to make it shorter? I want the help of AI to rewrite the text. And it does. Rewrite this text. My passion lies, and I have spent 10 years as a teacher. See how more nicely that flows? My passion lies in helping students develop their personal brands. If I wanted to change the tone to make it professional, enthusiastic, casual, I'm funny. I think I'm funny, at least in my own head. I'm going to change it and see what it comes up there. Hey there, a decade of herding students like cats. Actually, that's true. I discovered my true calling, helping them craft their personal brands. Who knew teaching can lead to this fabulous gig? I actually really like that. And I'm going to use that text, and now here it is. And I want to make it just a little bit bigger. And there we go. And again, my floating toolbar tells me what I can do in terms of personalizing this even more. But that's just a little glimmer of what the AI here at Wix in the editor can help you do. All right. Now I want to get to, oh, go ahead.
Oh,
What do we got?
Louisa, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we're getting a couple
Don't.
questions, and this is a good one about the
Yeah.
grid lines and the header. And
Yes.
to what extent do the grid lines affect the stuff you put in the header? So maybe showing them the site on preview might be helpful, and also just kind of talking through that.
No doubt. Great question. Great question. So your header, we don't advise, like, here's my grid line here. Now, if you're adding pages, this header is going to get longer, in which case your pages will not be seen via your visitor. So I'm going to just save this. Auto save is on, but I'm a fan of always clicking save just because just as a best practice. And now I'm going to go to preview. I want to see what my site looks like from the desktop. My header is all there, right? It looks clean. It looks good. Everything looks great. I can switch over to mobile and see what it looks like there. Now it's compressed, right? Because I'm on the mobile. Also looks good. And now folks can navigate through there. But take a look at this. This is a great example of how optimization of mobile, you really have to go back and check. My hello and my about me statement that AI just helped me craft, you can't even read it. So I would go back to my editor in this case and move some things around, right? So I would move this down here. I'm going to move my statement even a little more further down, probably make that bigger, right? That text bigger. So can't stress enough to just go back and forth between the mobile and the desktop to make sure it's optimized. But again, so let me just demonstrate. I'm going to add a page now just to show you what it would look like if I added a page to this header. So when you add a page, which is this third button down here, pages and menus, I can get to my pages and menus here, or I could just go in the top left corner, right, and hit manage pages. About me, resume, projects, contact. You'll notice that those 4 pages are in my header. I'm going to add another page, okay? Add page. I want it to be a project page. This is also a good example to highlight more templates that Wix allows you to work with instead of just starting from scratch. So I'm going to choose this one. I kind of like this one. I'm going to add this page. And now my page is here. And I just want to actually edit because everything else is in caps lock. And I want to keep that consistent, right? Make sure your fonts and sizing and everything else is consistent. Consistency is key. Don't try to choose 16 different fonts or colors. You will probably cause your visitors a little bit of anxiousness. But now I have 5 pages, and you'll notice that my About Me page now is beyond the grid line a little bit. So you want to just, let's see actually what that looks like in preview. It should be okay. Yeah, it should be okay. I mean, we're talking about probably adding like 1 or 2 or 3 more, and then that's where things could get a little crazy. But again, just going back, it looks clean on the mobile as well as desktop. Also, you'll notice that once I added that page, right, it automatically appears here. So, but again, like, just be cognizant. You don't want 5, 6, 7 different pages for folks to navigate to. A lot of time, and I have a project page, so now I have 2 project pages. But anyway, let's say I wanted, let me call this, let me rename this. I'm going to rename this one internship. Okay. Let's say I wanted to compress and make my header and my pages a little bit more clean and consistent. I can nest, we talked about this in the sitemap. I'm going to nest my intern page under my project page, right? So now it's a little cleaner, but when I go to preview my site, I have now like a little cool drop down, okay, for projects and an internship. So you can do that as well. And that was long-winded, but I hope I answered the question, Mel. Let me know.
No, that's great. Yeah, guys, with the header, it's something where that's where you do have to check your site on lots of different
Yep.
screen sizes. So, you know, in Wix, it's like it looks fine now because it's on probably that desktop. But if you went to a
Right.
tablet or to like even a smaller screen, that's where you just kind of have to do like your check and check again
Yeah.
as you're building.
Always check.
Yeah.
Always. It's always a good process, rather practice to just check, right? Don't assume that the technology is going to do it for you. So it's always good to just be cognizant of that. Cool. Anything else in the chat before we go to CTAs?
Now let's do some CTAs. I think we're ready.
All right, CTAs, love CTAs. We have two here. We have a resume and a project button, right? And again, you're like, well, Louisa, what is this going to? It's going to my resume. Yes. Well, how? So again, I want to link it. All right. So I'm going to click my little floating toolbar. I'm going to click link. And you know, if you have a document like a PDF, a lot of times students you know, just have a PDF of their resume or it's a Word doc, that's okay. I can upload that here. And again, I go through the same process of like choosing a file. So I'm uploading it. Let's see if I have one here. I have directions here. I'm not sure. Maybe I have my resume. Here we go. So I'm going to upload my real resume to my Wix manager. And that's a PDF version right here. And I'm going to add that to the page and you see the file here. I can also, you know, click done, make sure I hit save, and let's preview to see what this looks like. You always want to also check, like Melanie was saying, check for optimization for your headers, for, you know, mobile. You also want to check to make sure that your CTA buttons actually work. So I'm going to click on that and there's my resume. Okay. And it shows up in a new tab here and folks can download it. They can print it, but they have it. Now, sometimes folks, and I just clicked my resume again as if I wanted to read it. Let me go back to my editor. Sometimes students, you know, want to keep their resume, you know, under lock and key, or they don't feel comfortable, in which case you wouldn't link it as a document. You can link it as like a web address or a page, and you could set permissions on that page. So only folks with a password can access that. So if I go to my resume, right, it's here, and go to manage pages. You want to go in your settings here and permissions. So you would just say the only people that can access my resume, because that's my personal information, I don't feel comfortable putting it on the World Wide Web, you would just connect that to password holders. And so if you do have an internship opportunity or a collaboration or a partnership where someone needs to view your resume, you could simply create a password and give that to them. Okay, cool. CTAs, very, very important. And the other CTA here is going to link to my project page. Okay, so if I click on my project page, it goes directly here. And this is where I would design 4, maybe 5 things maximum. Again, we talked about like creating content that really showcases what you've done and who you are. And if you have trouble, ask your professors, ask former teachers, professors, you know, if you have a part-time job, ask your manager, things like that. Like you really want to highlight projects that go with your goal, right? So if your goal is to become a content creator or a digital marketer, I should be seeing content on your portfolio website that has to do with that, right? As opposed to, you know, Melanie and I have been doing a lot of sessions for musicians and artists and you know, performers. So we should be seeing their reels. We should be seeing their performances on their websites. So it really goes back to that goal and the audience that you're trying to attract. Okay. Let's go to site design. 4th button from the bottom here. And I love this because it's so fun to play around with. Yes, it's a simple design. You can see that. But what I love about Wix is if you're unsure about what colors go together, I don't know color theory. I don't pretend to know. Wix will set you up with some really cool color palettes, and you can see what your website would look like in real time just by clicking each one. I like the retro vibrant. It's very bright. It's like a highlighter color. That definitely is me. But I also like this one, savvy. I think I'm picking the color combinations that go more with my personality. I could be contemporary and warm. I can also be savvy and fashionable, right? So pick one that goes again. That's the third bullet we talked about, your brand identity. Tangy. I think I'm gonna go with tangy. Okay, cool. Let's stick with that one.
Ooh, we had a fun
Uh,
question,
let's go.
Louisa from Nicholas regarding design. Can we choose colors individually, or do you only have those featured palettes and
You
things to work with?
Great question. And you can choose things individually. So, let's say I wanted to change my background of this strip, right? Like Wix, when you're designing pages from the start and you're adding sections, they're called strips. So let's say, I'll show you a couple different things here. I'm going to change the color for here of this strip background. And if you know the color, again, you could just go to edit. If you know like the hex codes or things like that, right? You could set different colors, primary colors, lines. I mean, you can get really, really granular in the design here. So to answer your question, Nick, yes, but again, be very careful like how many colors you're actually choosing because it should be consistent page to page, right? Like I'm not going to have tangy on my main about me page and then I'm not going to choose like savvy or nostalgic for another page, but you can change your base colors, right? One by one, you can do all of that. So let me change my background here. Okay, so I still have the orange in the background, as you could see. I guess I'm channeling my Halloween vibes right now. But here's a nice purple. All right, there's the orange again. And again, I could just go to edit, and if I know like specific color codes or hex codes or RGB, I can get really, really granular. But to answer your question, Nick, you sure can. Speaking of backgrounds, let's say I'm just going to add a strip here. Let's just make this a little, I'm going to add a section. I like adding my section this way because Wix is now again, like trying to help me out. Do you want a design section? You want AI or you're adding some elements here? So I'm going to go with a design section and I want people to subscribe to my website because eventually I'm going to have a page that has a blog on it and I want to get some readership going. So I'm going to go to my ad section and I'm going to add a subscribe here. So I'm going to say join the club and it matched the colors that I had above. But if I wanted to again, like change that, I could. By color, I could change again this font, color, whatever you want to do. But again, I can't stress enough. Don't get too crazy. Um, I will show you how to add a video though. I do want to go back to the media manager just for a second. Wix has what we call media from Wix, right? So these are all stock images, stock photos, stock videos. If you want to put like placeholders in lieu of your videos or your stock images, that's fine. Or you can use them. There's a lot of great stuff. They are free. So I just wanted to call that out. A lot of cool free stuff. Let's see if there's any like for writing, since I said that this was going to be like a blog. Okay, cool. Any videos here? Writing notes? That's someone sketching. I'm not that artistic. Maybe this one. Let's change this one. I'm going to change the background and check that out. Now I have a cool video in my background asking people to subscribe, to join my club. I would probably change this text. But again, you could just, the sky is the limit in terms of like being creative here. So I adding elements, like we will never get through all of these in one session, right? So there are so many. If you like galleries, if you want a contact form, if you want to upload your video or your music, if you want to do something cool and interactive, like have a light box when people, first come to your site and something pops up, bookings, events, all that jazz, all that jazz. Okay. So what else? Anything in the chat? I'm just looking here before I get to some like third party app stuff. I have to change these colors back. Sorry.
We did have one of our friends, Louisa, just wanted to see how to add a button because this template came with a lot of buttons, but just how
Good
to go about
question.
doing that.
So let's say I made a mistake and I deleted these buttons. And I mean, I have my undo redo, which is really great. But let's say I wanted to add a third, right? Like, let's say I wanted to put a contact one. So I'm going to go over to my elements and I'm going to go down to my button element, right? And again, like Wix is big on, just giving you easy things. And again, I could change the colors of this and all this, but I'm just going to put, let's see, which one do we like here? Download, join, send, chat now. I kind of like that. I'm going to go with call me. Okay. And I'm going to stick that right there. It's a little bit larger than the other one. So I'm just going to play around to manipulate the size. That looks just about right. And again, I'm going to snap it into place. I kind of like that. But instead of call us, I'm going to put contact me. Okay. Great. And again, like I could choose the design. I could change it since it doesn't really match the other ones. If I didn't want an image, I could do that. These floating toolbars, I can even add an animation, right? Like when it comes, I like the animations, definitely fool around with those. So I have my contact button. And again, just to reiterate how I got there, you go to add elements, button, and choose one of your favorites. Okay. Again, like think about the goal. What is the button for? What is the action you want the visitor to take? And so I have a contact here. And I probably would link this to my contact page, right? So I'm going to actually click page. Thank you, Olive. She liked that I want to do a contact page because she knows how important that is. Page, I'm going to choose my contact page since I already have a separate form going there. But again, like it's easy access. It's a CTA. It's so people can get there without like sifting through information. And I am going to hit done. Just to do that again, go over to linked page. I'm going to click what page I want it to link to, hit done, hit save as a best practice. And let's see what that looks like. Let's see if the button is live. Yes, we're enjoying the editor. Thank you so much, Wix, for asking. Let's preview that. Okay, here's who I am and what I do. Resume, projects, contact me. And there it is. Let's talk. Unfortunately, my fairy godmother form is not loading. So we might have to go in and see what's happening there. Add a form, okay? Again, you can edit a form, add a form. You could do this in the back of house. I tend to like, I'm gonna just delete this box just to show you how to do that really quickly since we're on it. Here's my contact and form, again, and add elements. And I'm just gonna use, I like this one, but this one's black, so it's probably easier on the eyes for folks. And now here's my contact form. Let's chat. Now I'm gonna save. Done. I'm going to go back. Let's go back to my main page here. A little bit of a lag. And did you see that little shutter, the animation? Contact me, and there it is. Okay. So we did two things. We added a button and we added that contact form so people can actually get in touch with you. Cool. Good questions. Keep them coming. What else we have? We have about 12 minutes left, so I want to leave time for questions. What do we think? Again, I'm going to switch to mobile while y'all are thinking just to see what this looks like. Looks pretty good. Let's see what this resume page looks like. Okay, I have my download CV. I want to move this up just a little bit. Again, whatever I manipulate on the mobile site doesn't hurt the desktop version. Just make sure you hit save if you are editing. This looks good. Let's look at my project page. That also looks good. And again, like this is a great example of where to use AI. If you're trying to write a description about your project or experience, write one sentence and let the AI companion in Wix help you write the rest. And about me, this is the worst. Go ahead, Mel.
We've got some good ones. So we'll start with this one. Connecting the contact form to your actual email. Like, can you connect it to your actual email, or will it go to the email that you use to create your Wix account? So is it just going to go to like some Wix area or?
Correct. It's gonna go to your Wix back of house. Would now be a good time to go to back of house, you think? And then we'll flip. Let's
We
do
have a
it.
couple of other kind of fun editor
Okay.
questions. One
Well,
for,
let's
yeah,
punt the back of house. And then we'll
yeah,
stay in the editor and then we'll go to back of house. Great.
exactly. Because we got some back of house questions. We've also got some editor
Cool.
questions. So one from Lisa, just adding an image and then putting type beside it to describe the image, like pairing text and written content, how to do that effectively.
Pairing text and written content. So maybe we can do that on the project page.
Yep.
Okay.
100%.
So let's say Melanie or Lisa or someone in the chat, give me a project that you worked on. Let's make this as real as possible, right? Let's not sugarcoat anything. Name a project that you work on that you're proud about. You did some research, you did an internship, you worked on a paper for a school, anything, any cool
Logo
project.
and branding design.
Ooh.
Very professional.
Can they do one?
Very demure.
Very.
Very demure.
Logo and branding design. And can you describe, so logo and branding design, this is a great like teachable moment, right? That's very broad. What was the logo and branding design specifically for? That's what you want to think about. Like, was it for a school? Was it for a marketing company? Was it for an accounting firm, right? Was it even for like a plumber or a culinary arts person? Who was it for? So who did you work on? We know that you designed the logo and some branding, but like, tell us a little bit more about that project. I could just start making it up if no one wants to.
Also where your AI friend comes in handy too. Like if you can't, if your brain doesn't work, which
if your brain's not working, like mine isn't, because I'm due for my 2 p.m. cappuccino. Let's say that, and you want to use I do want to call that out. I worked on a logo and branding kit for a doggy daycare. Doggy daycare. Okay, great. So again, like I have one sentence, it's not a lot, but let's see how I could use AI to like generate again, like some new text and make it a little bit more beefy, right? So I'm just gonna copy paste this because I wanted to, let's see, generate new text. Let's see what it does. Now it's writing it. This seems to be missing information. I'm so glad I did that. Did I do it on purpose? Yes. Because the output that you get from any AI is only as good as the input that you're giving it, right? So you want to be as specific as possible. So I worked on logo and branding for a doggy daycare company. They wanted, they weren't sure what colors they wanted or image they wanted to convey. And again, I'm just typing here just for the sake of this experiment. But I put together a brand guideline for them based on the fact that they only take care of service dogs, right? This is completely made up. Let's see what it does with this. All right. Great. It sounds like our brand is dedicated to providing a safe and nurturing environment. So this, I would change the tense and I would actually add this as part of my description. I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. Okay. And I'm going to tell AI, use I because I did the work. I did the work for this project, right? Let's see what it does there. Okay, it's actually saying that I did it. Great. But I think you get the point, right? I created a brand that ensures a safe and nourishing environment for design crafted elements for this. So I'm going to use this text. It'll show up here. And again, you can manipulate it and change it, but the best rule of thumb here is like no more than 2 to 3 lines, just describing the project. Now to change the image, since I'm using a template here, I'm going to again click on my image and my floating toolbar will come up, and I'm just going to put change image, but I don't have an image of this doggy daycare. So I'm going to go media from Wix. I'm just going to type in dogs. Who doesn't like dogs? And this looks great. Dog walker. All these beautiful dogs. Okay. Choose image, and there it is. And let's see what that looks like. So again, you probably would have the company's name somewhere in here, right? Like Louisa's Doggy Daycare and Design. I helped Louisa craft a brand kit for her new venture in the doggy daycare world. You just want to be as specific as possible without being overly, chatty, as I like to say, which I'm doing right now. What else? Because we're coming up on time.
We are, yeah. So again, we've got a lot of design questions, guys. I'm going to be kind of trying to answer them as specifically as possible. And some things Louisa has shown, it's just kind of in a different context from what you're asking. So you'll get the recording so you can return to it. But for all those questions, that are about like internal linking or adding text, that's as simple as just going to add elements and adding a text box. Like you would add a caption to something.
Here we go. Titles.
Just like that right here. This is also why I like to use sections as opposed to just like plopping an image and plopping a text box next to it, because then it's designed out, and all of the issues of hierarchy, layout, grid lines. If you build with sections, you never have to worry about it because you have your text box, it's paired with your image, it looks real nice, and all that's been thought through for you. But yeah, good questions there. Yeah, I would say we go to our back of house questions though, Louisa,
Cool.
because we have a question about domain names and how you can get your own domain name and pay for it, as well as that other question about emails. Yeah.
Emails,
But
cool. So
I'll be going through
Mel,
and doing individual
and I should have
responses.
done this. Yeah, thanks Mel for calling that out. So I made a section, and as Mel was talking, I was literally just adding elements, right? Just dragging and dropping what elements you want into that section. So again, very easy. Just go to that plus button and add an image, add text, add body, paragraphs, whatnot. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go back to my dashboard. So this is the back of house. So in regards to the email, if someone completes your form, if someone fills out your form, and Mel, correct me if I'm wrong, you get a notification here. You'll see that little bell up top where it says I have 2 notifications. It will go to the email form that you created your Wix website with, right? So mine's louisas@wix.com. When someone fills out my form, that's the email that I get notified that someone interacted with my website, and I'll get this little notification here, okay? Cool. And the other, connect a custom domain, which is what we're looking at right now, right? If you have a GoDaddy or something like that, you can transfer that domain to your professional website on Wix, should you want to. And Mel, correct me if I'm wrong, again, part of this, you're getting a 1-year free subscription, but is the domain, is that an add-on, or are we including the domain name with that?
It's an add-on. So
it's an add-on.
Basically the process, you guys, is you need to own your own domain, which you can buy it through Wix, like Louisa was saying, GoDaddy. If you consult Reddit, there's also thousands of other places you can get a domain name.
Yep.
But basically you need to own that. Then you put that domain name in here and you'll be able to connect it to your Wix website. So that's what our code allows you to do, is connect the domain that you already own. I pay for my domain, and it's through, I bought it through Wix. It's like $17 annually.
Yep.
So reasonable, I would say.
Correct. Cool.
Yep. Good
Great.
question. Maybe too,
Great
Louisa,
question.
just showing the upgrade process real quick, because I know sometimes we get hung up on that.
Yes. So they keep changing this. I think I'm in the right place. Settings, right? No,
Yeah, it's always in a weird spot.
it's
Anything
always,
purple though is where you can usually
oh, here we go.
upgrade. Yep.
Compare, well, this is gonna take me now to compare plans. It's gonna take me outside, but these are all the different sites. So technically you navigate outside just to navigate back in, but these are the different upgrade plans that Mel sort of highlighted. When you get a 1-year free domain, here's that $18 a month with business, and all of them, there's a limited time right now. They're 50% off the business, elite, business, and core.
And guys,
Cool.
do not fret. You're going to receive your Wix premium upgrade code.
I was gonna say that.
After this event. So, we'll be sending out an email in like 2 to 3 days with your recording and also your code, which you can then use to upgrade to those plans that Louisa just showed you.
Yeah. And no, I just found it. So it's in the, because I thought it was in the other. So if you click, when you're in your back of house, you click your little profile image, and then you go to account settings. And so you'd go to like premium subscriptions if you wanted to upgrade, right?
Mhm.
And there's my lovely domains and account information for everyone to stay on this call. But that's how you would do it. Yeah. Cool. Anything else? I mean, we're at time. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, I think we're
Good
lots of
questions. Great
questions, but good
questions.
ones.
Great
Really
questions.
good ones.
Yes, and we will be in touch. So again, you completed the first part of the 3-step process in terms of getting certified. You attended the webinar. So like Mel said, in a couple of days, we'll be putting a package together with this recording, with the knowledge check, and everything you need to do there for submitting the knowledge check and your website in order to get the digital credential badge of Wix Foundation certified. And yeah, keep the communication lines open. You know where to find us. If you want more of us, get in touch. Yeah, that's all
Awesome.
I got. But thanks for attending, everybody. And we could stay on just for a couple more questions. It looks like are coming through if folks wanna.
Oh, Ralph, good question. So this is our last webinar for the fall semester. So sad. But we will be sending out our spring schedule in early December. So keep an eye out on your emails, and we will have, a full slate of programming for spring, including, this webinar, more in-depth topics, e-commerce for my entrepreneurs
Yeah.
out there. So just kind of keep your eyes peeled, and we'll be sending that info for spring 2025 shortly.
Yeah, great. Cool.
It's all
Mohammed, we will
comedy routine, according to Anna. Thank you, Anna.
You too need. Well, thank you. Maybe we will, Melanie. Maybe we will.
It's always more fun when Louisa's doing it.
Mohammed, you will get the certificate from Melanie. Again, like when we said, give us a couple days, we're going to package this all nicely for everybody that attended. Send you an email with the recording, the knowledge check, and what you need to do to submit a website to us, so that then we can get you that badging in a couple weeks.
100%. Main thing, just get to work on those websites, guys. We want to see them.
Have fun.
And
we want to see them. What does the badging do? Well, it certainly makes you more attractive, I think. So employers tell us, Melanie and I talk to a lot of employers, a lot of recruiters, and this is the way that the industry is going. They want digital certifications. They want digital badging. They want folks to highlight what they've done in a professional light, right? So a digital badge shows that you're invested in yourself, you're professionally learning, and it just makes you more attractive as opposed to someone who maybe doesn't have a certification from Wix. So exactly. I hope that answers your question. Yeah. Yep. Anything to add, Mel?
Nope, that's perfect. And rolling deadline as well for this, because no hard due date, no anything where you need to do an all-nighter or nothing like that. We accept your application.
Well, I mean,
it's, it always helps to put a
Yeah.
little effort in, but rolling deadline. So there is no
Rolling deadline.
deadline. You will then receive your certification. We review it. We take between 2 to 4 weeks to review. So from Lizzie, can you connect
Yes.
Figma wireframes? You can do that in the Wix Studio platform.
Not editor.
So Wix Studio is our platform for designers and agencies. Anybody can use it. It's the same model, freemium. You can get in there and have a ball. It's definitely for designers, but you can, if you have that level of experience, take your Figmas and upload them, connect them to your Wix website in Wix Studio, which is amazing. Hopefully
Wix Studio is correct. One day we're gonna do it, Mel. But
one of these days.
Lizzie, if you remember the onboarding flow, when I first signed into Wix, it said, do you want to go to Studio or do you want to design in Editor? I chose Editor. So in your case, you might want to try to play around in Studio for a little bit with the Figma integration. But it is cool. It is fun. If you like Figma. Yeah. What else? What else?
Anything else, folks?
Anything else? Anything else? Thank you, Jessica. Pleasure having you here. Cool. All right.
All righty, guys.
Thank you all.
We'll be in touch. Take care. Happy site building.
Happy site building. Till next time. Cheers.
Bye.